Hi everyone, welcome back to a new post today. And it's election time, so let's understand what exactly are the qualifications required for a person to become an MP, that is with regard to a member of parliament with regard to Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. So we have articles in the constitution and we have supplementary laws like the Representation of People Act 1951, which speaks about this. Now, in spite of having articles in the constitution, why do we need a supplementary law? So let me tell you that we cannot include everything in the constitution, and therefore the constitution makes us provided this very comfortable method or technique of supplementing the constitution with parliamentary made laws, which require a detail or an in-depth the statements with regard to the requirements of the office, qualification, disqualification, etc. So there are many articles like this which are further supplemented by laws of the parliament, and the article itself speaks in the clause about supplementing the information along with the acts made by the Parliament of India. So one particular act of the constitution, that's article 84, speaks about the qualification required for a person to be a member of parliament, and it says that he should be a citizen of India, have to subscribe an oath and affirmation before a person authorized by the election commission, and also he has to, in case if he wants to be a member of Lok Sabha, he has to be not less than 25 years of age, and in case if he wants to be a member of Rajya Sabha, not less than 30 years of age, and possess such other qualifications which are prescribed by the laws made by the Parliament of India. So this was what is said. Now the Representation of People Act, along with the article of the constitution, includes a qualification required for a person to be a member of the Council of States or the Rajya Sabha, and it says that a person shall not be qualified to be chosen as a member of the Council of States from a state or union territory unless he is an elector for a parliamentary constituency in India, that is from any state. And with regard to qualifications for the house of a person wanting to be a member of the House of People or the Lok Sabha, it says that if in case he wants to fight from a seat reserved for a scheduled caste in any state, then he should be a member belonging to the scheduled caste and also an elector for any parliamentary constituency. Along with that, if he or she wants to fight an election from a constituency reserved for scheduled tribes in any state, then the person has to be a member of any scheduled tribe, whether of the state or any other state all over India. And let me tell you that the President of India brings about the list of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe by the Constitutional Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950, and which is state specific, but you can be a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe from any state, and it's not with regard to any particular state. If a person is fighting the elections for the Legislative Assembly of that particular state and is fighting from a reserve seat, then he has to be a member of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe with regard to the list from that particular state. But if he is fighting an election from a reserve constituency for the scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe in the Lok Sabha, then the person can belong the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe from any state of the country, that is the Indian in any state of India. Now, in case of a seat reserved for the scheduled tribes in the autonomous districts of Assam, now the person has to belong to the scheduled tribe from that very state and also an elector of the parliamentary constituency. And in case of a scheduled tribe in a union territory of Lakshadweep, that person has to belong to the scheduled tribe from that very state and also an elector of the parliamentary constituency from that very union territory or Lakshadweep. And in case of a seat allotted to the state of Sikkim, he has to be an elector for the parliamentary constituency of Sikkim. So this is what, if you see, the Representation of People Act does not only speak of your qualifications required for your Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but also speaks about the qualification required for being elected as a member of the Legislative Assembly, and also for the qualification for the Legislative Assembly of Sikkim. And apart from that, it also speaks about the membership for the Legislative Council as well. So what does it say about the membership of the Legislative Assembly? It says that the person has to be qualified for a Legislative Assembly unless in case if he is fighting from a reserved constituency, that is for a scheduled caste or the scheduled tribe, then he has to belong to these categories of castes or tribes in that very state, and also has to be an elector for the Assembly constituency and not a parliamentary constituency. And in case if it is reserved for the autonomous district of Assam, he has to be a member of the scheduled tribe from any autonomous district in Assam, and autonomous districts are formed under the 6th schedule of the constitution, and is an elector from the assembly constituency in Assam. And apart from that, he has to be an elector for the assembly constituency in that state. Now apart from that, it also gives qualification for the legislative assembly of Sikkim. So let me tell you, in case of a reserve seat for the Sikkimis who belong to the Bhutia Lepcha origin, he has to be a person of either the Bhutia or the Lepcha origin and an elector for an assembly constituency in that state. If a seat is for the seat reserved for the Nepali origin, he has to be of Nepali origin and also an elector from the assembly constituency of that state. And for in case he belongs to the Sanghas, then he has to be an elector for the Sangha constituency. And in case of a seat reserved for the scheduled caste in Sikkim, then he has to belong to the scheduled caste from that very states which are specified in the representation of the Sikkim Subjects Act of 1974, and an elector for the assembly constituency in that state. So these are some of the points which I really wanted to share with you all. Okay, let me continue with this. So along with that, if you want to, it speaks about the qualification for legislative council. Now a person shall not be qualified to be a person or to be a member of the legislative council unless if a person is qualified to fill a seat in the legislative council of a state to be filled by nomination by the governor. So we all know that members are nominated by the governor, and unless he is an ordinary resident of the state. So this is what is said in the Representation of People Act. And yes, so these are the qualifications that have to be fulfilled by the members if they want to fight the election to the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha has just been taken place with regard to all the states. Now we are going to General Assembly, that is for Lok Sabha. So the qualifications are not only mentioned in the Constitution under Article 84 but also the Representation of People Act of 1951. And I hope these few points are really helpful to you all if to understand the qualifications that are needed. And if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. And I shall see you tomorrow in another new post, and until then, it's very happy learning.